We've seen now 4 different ways to collect things together into compound data structures, non-scalar data structures. We've seen strings, we've seen tuples, we've seen ranges, and we've seen lists. And I want to take a little bit of time to talk about the common operations that apply to all of them. They're all ordered collections of elements. They all have certain properties, and then they have a few differences. So I'm going to let SEQ, sequence, be a name, a variable, if you like, but a name that describes any one of these. And what do we know about all 4 of these data types? I can get the ith element out by simply saying, give me the ith element of sequence by using the square braces, right there. I can ask for the length of them. I will get it back. I can concatenate them using pluses, with one exception, which is ranges. I cannot concatenate ranges, but I can concatenate strings, tuples, lists. I can actually repeat a sequence n times by using the star. We saw that earlier with strings. I haven't shown it to you with lists, but it works exactly the same way. If sequence is a list and I say 3 times a sequence, I'll get 3 versions of that sequence all concatenated together. Again, not with ranges. It's the one exception here. I can slice into any of these things using exactly the same format, especially that colon there. I can test if something's in a sequence. So by simply asking, is this element in the sequence? Will return true. Same common form. I can say, is it not in the sequence? And I can iterate over the sequence by simply using for and in and walk down the sequence. Why am I showing you this? This is a nice property of this programming language, that given these collections of elements, exactly the same operation applies. Again, with just the 2 exceptions here of concatenation, where ranges cannot be concatenated. But it's really nice because I don't have to think about what operation am I doing based on what type. I'm overloading these operations so that I let the type of the data help Python decide which version to use to collect them off. More importantly, intellectually, I can think about the operation itself without worrying about the details of which version of it do I want to use. I can say I want to concatenate these things together. Doesn't matter if they're tuples, if they're lists, if they're strings. I can just go ahead and do them. And so I could pull all of those together in a very nice way. I've got one other piece of it that I want to think about, which is which of these are mutable and which are not. And as we've seen, only the list is mutable. So how do I think about this? Strings is a concatenation of characters. Tuple, a concatenation of any kind of object. A range, a concatenation or sequence, I should be saying, of integers, and list, a sequence of any kind of object. We've seen the examples of them, and we've seen, well, 3 of them are immutable. 1 of them has this nice property of being mutable. But all of these behave the same way, and that idea of collecting data together into a structure is something we really want to be able to use. And I'm going to show you an example of that next.